Hi guys, welcome back. Very impromptu video again. I find a lot of freedom in posting on YouTube because barely anyone watches, which is amazing for me. So today I just want to talk really quickly about friendships and relationships. I think in the last video I'm so sorry, I really just dumped on you guys. The problems that I've been facing, but I feel a lot better these days. And I just met my friend, a close friend, and we just had brunch and we were talking about friendships. And I wanted to talk about that. Again, don't mind my messy background, but I'm starting to realize in recent weeks that why I'm able to kind of get really close to some people and why some friendships can never form, no matter how close or how many years we've known each other. And I feel like what is important to me in a friendship is authenticity. And I tend to go for tough love. I tend to go for friends who are brutally honest with me, people who are very straightforward with me. Even, in the past, I used to have a lot more like male friends. I'm gonna bring you guys to the room because it's getting a bit warm here. Okay, no. I'll be on the sofa. So when I was younger, I always felt like I get along better with male friends, right? Because they don't care about your feelings. They just tell you like it is, right? And it was always difficult for me to sustain female friendships in a way because I am the same. Like I'm like that. And it's also because of upbringing, right? Like that's how we talk at home. Like we're very straightforward and we're very blunt, or that's just how I am. I don't know, but over the years though, I think when you're your true self is when you really start to find people who align with you. And over the years right now, like I think I have more female friends than male friends actually. As I look back right now, and if you gave me if I was like I don't know, like 5 to 6 years ago, I would not have believed that I would have more female friends, close friends, because I just didn't think like females. I think it's also like prejudice, right? Like I didn't think that females would be able to open up and be that straightforward with one another, or it's tougher for them to accept the things I would be able to say. But it is not true, which is why I think like the story that you tell yourself is so important. If you believe innately that people will not be able to accept the things that you say, then that's going to be true. And the same is vice versa, right? Like if I believe that people would appreciate me and my honesty for what it is, then that is also true. And maybe in the recent 2 years, Nala, come here, don't act like I don't let you out. My cat is so demanding. Like I let her out to the corridor like 5 times a day and she's still asking for it. But anyway, I love her so much. She's staring in the mirror. Nala, come here. Come here, Mami sayang. Come here. Mami sayang, you come. But you have to come to me first. Okay, but anyway, I was just reflecting on it like in the last few days, and I realized like I'm so blessed. Like my close friends now are mostly females, like women. And they are kind of similar, like they are so open to being very emotionally vulnerable with me, but at the same time they are able to tell me like it is, right? And they are able to kind of like fact check and reality check with me. And when I speak my truth about their situations, when they come to me with maybe similar problems, and when I point something out, it's like they're not sensitive about it, right? And they are just able to accept the things that I say. And sometimes it takes time for them to think about the things that I tell them, and they are able to kind of work around it, right? So I think I'm blessed with people then around me who are really honest with themselves. And because they are honest with themselves, they are able to accept themselves for who they are. And consequently, they are able to build very genuine and deep friendships with me because they are able to open up and tell me how they really feel. Like you can be flawed, right? Everyone is flawed, like I mentioned in the last video. But the difference is when you're flawed and you don't see that as a problem, right? You are flawed, but you accept and you embrace that and you acknowledge that. And then it's up to you whether you want to work on it or not. You can choose not to work on it, whatever is your life, right? I'm in no position to tell you what you should be doing. And I think that is precisely it for me when it comes to friendships. Like, I genuinely love deep conversations, or even if it's just like surface. But we're able to talk about things that excite us, that are problems for us. And we are also able to give it to each other and accept each other's criticisms, right? Constructive ones. And the friendships I have right now, it's like, it's not toxic, it's not like codependent. We are not trauma bonding, and we are always excited about like what's next, right? Although there's also this kind of jaded energy of like, are we living way too long? Right? Like, what else do we need to do in life, right? But I think it's that dark humor that also makes me appreciate my friendships. And I think that's the point of this video. Just staying very true to yourself and being able to open up to one another, I think is a very, very precious thing. And I'd like to say that Nala! Let me show you what she's doing. Nala! Nala, what are you doing? Come down. Come on. Does she hate me so much? She wants to leave the house every time. What the hell? She's my palpe, eh? But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I was saying I like to say that material stuff don't matter. What you own, of course to a certain degree, right? Survival and stuff. But your achievements are there to serve a very practical purpose. But what you take out of life are the friendships you and relationships you build, right? I think to go deeper into this that I'm talking about is in my crypto days, right, in corporate, I used to manage teams, right, of like not a lot of people, like maybe 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 people, depending on what situation it is, right? Because as you know, crypto is like super high turnover and all that. But I think I'm grateful for the way I treated people in the past, because it can be very cutthroat, right? It can be very extremely transactional, but I just refuse to give in to that, right? And sometimes they did question me and my ability, right? And like in the past, my manager would always tell me like, you have to be a bit, you have to be a bit more strict with your team members. And then I just asked him, I was like, if I'm that strict with my team members, what are they getting out of it? Can you guarantee progression for them? Can you guarantee promotion, salary increment for them? If it doesn't make sense to me, it's hard for me to do the act of like forcing my people to work beyond certain of expectation, because I was in a huge company, right? Like, it's like the top few players in crypto. Like, you can't make me force people to enslave themselves if you're not providing an upside for them. It's just as simple as that, right? And I'm glad I stuck to those beliefs and I did challenge my manager, because I'm like, I'm not doing it, right? Like, even if you want me to fire people, you have to give me a good reason. Why? It's not like our team was made for like on the path of great progression. We were handling a product that has been removed anyway. Like, we were just redundant entirely, right? And I knew that, it was so obvious. And when I asked him that, he couldn't answer me, right? He didn't have an incentive for people to work harder. It's not like they are slated for promotion or there's something to fight for, there's an increment. There's nothing. Then why are you getting me to fire people? I think it's so important to first see people as human beings first. And when it's practical, when it makes sense, when it makes logical sense, to then exercise whether, should I fire this person? Should I give an opportunity for promotion? Should I, so I think that's so important. And I'm glad I stuck to those beliefs of mine, regardless of how it could be viewed upon back in the corporate world. I don't give a shit, like, I have offended people in the industry and I don't give a fuck, right? And I mean, it's tough looking back, right? I'm just recalling a lot of incidents that, people that I used to offend were usually like managerial C-suite level. And of course, sometimes it feels like I'm like, I don't know, like putting myself in a difficult situation, but I firmly believe in those decisions and the words that I have spoken in the past, right, to challenge certain beliefs. And I'm glad I stuck to it, because I think as a human being, your values come first. I do not believe in signing away your morals and your values to a company, to be honest, especially when you talk about capitalist societies, right? And when it comes to that, my point being, I still have good relationships with people that I used to work with that were in the same team as I was, right? And some of them have blossomed into such beautiful relationships. And I'm just thinking back sometimes, and I'm like, okay, if I was to act differently, if I was to follow my manager's instructions to just fire people because they were not performing by whatever standards that he couldn't even tell me why they were underperforming in by his standards too, then I would have lost those relationships. I would have lost those genuine bond that I would have had with those people. I don't believe that you have to always put people in a competitive environment to put people down in order for people to perform. I believe in being objective, right? If it's a bad job done, it's a bad job done, but there's always room for improvement. And to me, it's also an evaluation of how important is this product. Is this change of a significant improvement going to make significant changes to how the product is being marketed, right? To me, it's logic, right? If honestly this product already sucked and this product was already slated for, to be sunset, why the fuck would people put in so much effort, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And in the same way, like, I feel maybe that's why corporate world I'm not cut out for it in the long run, because I just uphold those values so much more than my own benefits, right? Because I don't feel good putting other people down in order to climb. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people in the industry who do that, right? Not in just in this industry, in the corporate world. And that's fine, right? It's fine because everyone's just living for themselves. And who are we to judge, right? How people are making their living and trying to gain success. But I'm just glad that I have now built great relationships with my friends. And I'm glad that, and I feel lucky and blessed that my close friends, people I still meet up with, who I still talk to, accept me for the person that I am, because I'm actually very, very low maintenance friend. I'm always alone. I don't really text them. I don't reply texts often as well. I don't turn up to meetups for meetups often as well. So, but they know that about me and they're okay with it, right? They don't force me. I just cannot deal with clingy relationships and friendships, right? And I think giving me the space and freedom to do what I need to do for myself is so important. And I'm so glad that my friends embrace that. And they're also kind of the same, right? And I don't know, I just feel grateful today, and I just wanted to record that. And so if you are a friend of mine and you're watching this, I just want to say I love you guys so much. And I'm not always super expressive, but if you're in my life still and I still meet you, and if I still talk to you, it's also because there are certain traits of yours that I truly admire and inspire me to be a better person. And I think that's the other thing I look for. I look for qualities in people that I can learn from, no matter their age, right? Regardless of their age, regardless of their capabilities in a corporate setting, right? It's more about, as a human being, how do you view others? How do you treat others? What are your values? And how do you see progression, right, in life? Maybe. Okay, and I tend to cut people off, especially friendships, if they are constantly repeating the same cycles without realizations of there are things to be worked on, right? I don't judge, but I just find it difficult when we are having the same conversation over and over again about the same problem for like 5 years, 10 years, right? So that's something I would not be able to stand for, and usually those friendships would naturally fade off, right? And I'm okay with that, right? I think when you're in your 30s, you have made peace with people living your life, and you just understand no hard feelings. It is what it is. we all move on so that maybe we can be better individuals separately, right? And that's what it is. For example, like I have a close friend. She's much younger. She's really pretty. She's hot AF. She's also really smart, but she acts like she's stupid sometimes. Like, but she's a really smart girl, right? And I learned so much from her, working with her, talking to her. That's why I say age doesn't matter. She could come off like really like bimbotic to some people, but I assume because she likes to position herself that way, right? But she's actually really smart and she has very good values, you know, as a person. But she doesn't like to show people like her decent and good and filial side, you know. And I'm just honored and I'm just happy that I have friends like that around me. People that inspire me every day and people who can tell me when I'm fucking delusional. So I just met another friend earlier for brunch and she's we used to work together in a crypto firm and we stayed in Bangkok together. So I was actually stationed in Bangkok for supposedly a year, but I came back because of COVID. So I was there for like 6 months plus. 6 months plus minus, and I was in Bangkok and I had a condo there, and then she would come and stay with me every now and then, and she was working with me together on content marketing for CryptoQuants. And she's so smart. She's younger than me by a year, but she's so smart, you know. And besides that, when we talk about life stuff, like she's a very anchored person. Like she has very good values, and when we talk about certain issues, she's like, I don't understand, you know, like things like that. And I love it because like when I talk to her about business ideas and stuff, you know, I can get very floaty and in my head sometimes. I want to start so many things, but like what do I really possess, right? And we were talking about some ideas earlier, and she just gave it to me and she was like, I have to tell you honestly that I don't think this is gonna work, right? Like you have to think further than this. And I'm glad for that. And I realized, you know what, I should be talking to more people about my ideas so that they are able to then give me very honest feedback, which I feel like in the past I would be very resistant towards. Like I wouldn't be open to hearing them because I didn't want to work on it, right? But I think that conversation really also made me think twice about what my commitments are. How can I really plan for success instead of just planning because I'm excited, right? Which is why I feel so thankful that they see it. And I give people too many chances sometimes, even for friendships, right? And she was telling me like, yeah, you literally like you would do that. Like you would give people, they have shown you who they are, but you would still think that they are great people. She would tell me that, right? And then I'm like, oh yeah, you're actually right. Like I don't know why. Yeah, I think, you know, friendships are about balance, and I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. And that's all, guys. Thank you for hearing me rant for 18 minutes. Bye!